Hello, everyone. This is the weekend report for October 1st, 2023. Currently, we are looking at the gold futures chart daily. Prices came down to close this gap from the March banking crisis. And I pointed out another gap we had here on the chart from last December. Prices came down, closed the gap, and then we kind of had a rounded bottom and then they shot higher. So I'm looking for this area to hold around 1850. If this holds and we get a swing low, then I think that might be it for this decline. If prices were to continue to slice through here, then the next support level is around between 1800 and 1820. Moving over to silver. Silver, I'm going to change this real quick to an arrow there. Silver rallied strongly and then came back down. That kind of looks like manipulation to me. I'm not sure what's going to happen here next. So what we could see is a repeat of the 2007 spike lower. So we could see a quick spike lower that reverses quickly. I'm going to shoot over to the 2007. So this is what happened in 2007. Prices were chopping around for several months, and then we just had a quick flush out. I think this was about a 10% overall day, but prices closed 8% down. And then that was it. We flushed out the weak hands, and then prices rallied and nearly doubled throughout the next several months. I don't know if that's going to happen this time. It's a possibility. That's all I just want you to be aware of. All right, switching over to platinum. Platinum, we have, excuse me, the round bottom has been holding, but I'm not sure if that's going to continue if gold and silver break lower. So we'll just have to see if this 1880 area holds. If not, then we're probably going down to revisit 800. And I looked back on the chart, and then the 800 level has held since like 2015. There's been a couple dips below it, but that is very, very strong support. Now over to GDX. So I pointed out the other day that we've had 4 drops. We saw pretty much the same thing in 2016. Prices just kept dropping, breaking support, and they did that 4 times. At the end, they gapped lower, and then they reversed a few days later. So we're at support. I'd like to see this gap, prices close above this gap to support a bottom. But until then, I mean, we could flail around here for a little bit. So we'll just have to see how the price action unfolds next week. Over to the juniors, same thing. We're in big support here. I'd like to see this area hold. I think it will hold, but and actually, if you look at the gap here, we did have a gap, and prices closed the gap, but they didn't close above the gap. So juniors are potentially showing signs of reversing, and then the silver juniors. This is significant support between $8 and $8.50. They did make a swing low because prices did close below the high of this day. So we'll see if there's any follow through. But really, to get excited here, I'd have to see them close this gap. Over to crude oil. All right, crude oil. Prices made a swing high. We had a small correction, and then they thrust into the 94 resistance level and reversed. Prices are up significantly since July, so I think we could probably see a multi-week correction here. And then Bitcoin, you know, I'm not a huge fan of crypto, obviously. I think there's potential, but the Bitcoin protocol, in my opinion, is flawed, and the incentives are all messed up, and I think eventually that's going to catch up with them, and something better will hopefully replace them. But currently, prices are bouncing. They could go a little bit further. I noticed this trend line the other day, and we'll put this in here now. So we're right at trend line here. So it's kind of make or break. If they break above this trend line, then we could come up a little bit higher. 28,500 is a tough level to get through, and then 31,500 has been very difficult too. So I would really need to see prices make a higher high to think, okay, this is this is something. Otherwise, I think we're going to make a lower high, roll over, and then break 25,000. This could be the beginning of a head and shoulder pattern. So we have a high left shoulder, which is what you want to see. The left side should be higher than the right side. There's some volume metrics you want to watch too, but for the most part, you want to have the left shoulder higher than the right shoulder. So this should terminate ideally below 29,000, roll over, and then once this level breaks, I think we're going probably right to 20,000, and then ultimately, I think we'll see new lows, maybe in 2024, but that all depends on if we get a recession and a flush out in the stock market. Speaking of the stock market, so this is the 500 E-minis S&P futures. So prices closed the gap here, and they're holding right now. For now, we'll see what happens next. But really, they'd have to get above the 44,050 level to make me think, okay, this might have more legs. But really, it would have to make a higher high for me to really put away my bearish outlook. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, but all right, thanks. I hope everyone's well, and we'll talk later.